Great. I want to be sure I'm live. If you can hear me, type in some 111 in the chat box. If you can hear me, guys, type in 111 in the chat box. I want to be sure I'm live on this call. I want to be sure I'm live on this call. If you can hear me, guys, type in 111 in the chat box. I want to be sure I am live. If you can hear me, guys, type in 111. I want to try and get some people on Instagram as well. If you can hear me, type in 111 in the chat box. Great, 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 great. I want to be sure people can hear me on this call, getting started right now. Really excited to be on this call. 7 dimensions of wealth, 7 spheres of wealth. Just to be sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. My name is Francis Chihora. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a Hope ambassador. Really excited to be on this call. Checking to make sure everyone on Instagram is also on this call. Really excited, guys. If you can hear me, type in 111 in the chat box. I want to be sure everyone can hear me. Really excited to be on this call. Great, great call this evening. It promises to bless you. It promises to be an impactful call. Just to make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. My name is Francis Chihora. I'm a serial entrepreneur and also a Hope ambassador. This call will really change your mindset and reshape your perspective. Just a minute, guys. I want to be sure everyone on IG also benefits from this. Just a minute, guys. Be sure everyone on IG also joins us on this call. Really excited to be on the call. Really, really excited. Make sure everyone on IG joins us on this call. Great to have everyone in the call. If you can hear me, guys, type in 111. Want to get the IG community to join right now. Awesome. Great, 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 great. Great, 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 great. If you can hear me, guys, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Fatimain Tai, for joining the call. Great. Let's just have a few more people. Please rebroadcast this link, get people to join the call. It promises to be an impactful call this evening. That I can guarantee you. That I can guarantee you. It's going to shape the perspective towards wealth. Lots of people don't understand this, but of course, we're going to really put perspective to it this evening. We're going to put perspective to it this evening, right about now. Right about now, just to get ready to go live right now. Just a minute. Should be starting this call right now. Guys, rebroadcast this. Let everyone join this call. Rebroadcast this. Let's get started. Let's get started. I'm starting this call in the next 30 seconds. Rebroadcast it. I want to be sure everyone joins on the call. We're not going to leave anyone out, guys. We're not leaving anyone out. We're not leaving anyone out on this call. Not leaving anyone out. Getting started right away. Awesome. So, guys, this call gets started right now in the next 3 seconds. My name is Francis Chihora. Really excited to be on the call. Great call this evening. It's past 7 p.m. West African time. Really excited. So what I want to share this evening basically is the 7 dimensions of wealth. What exactly is the 7 dimensions of wealth? Guys, we'll broadcast this call. Let everyone join the call. It promises to be an amazing time. Great to have you, Mr. Uriel Ezago. Great to have you on this call. Really excited to share my thoughts on this. Superstars, let's share this call. Let's share this call. And I tell you, it promises to be impactful. So guys, let's go straight on to what we want to discuss this evening. The 7 dimensions of wealth. The 7 spheres of wealth. And let me say this. Wealth, and I'm going to share this from a business and a kingdom perspective. So it's going to be a mixture. So if you hear me shift to business or shift to the kingdom perspective, it will help us really, polarize and understand the perspective. So the 7 spheres of wealth or the 7 dimensions of wealth. You see, wealth in itself is not money. Wealth is what you become. You become wealthy. It's what you attract. You see, lots of people chase after money. Those are poor people. Now, wealthy people don't chase money. They attract money. Wealthy people don't chase after money. They attract money. Guys, if you understand that, put in some 777. Wealthy people don't chase money. They attract money. That's what it is. You see, it's just basic understanding. They attract it. And I'm going to share with you the 7 dimensions of wealth. I'm going to take it one by one. Now, this is what you become. Understand that. Wealth is what you become. And when you become it, you attract wealth. So focus on becoming wealthy. Focus on becoming wealthy. It's mental. It's a thought. It's called wealthy thinking. Now, but how do you become it? I'm going to share with you 7 phases to gravitating to becoming wealthy. It's what you become. Number 1, I call it spiritual wealth. Spiritual wealth is number 1. It's important because you see, the world we live in the physical is controlled by a world we can't see. It's called, it's basic understanding. So the number 1 wealth you need to attain is spiritual wealth. You see, it is wealth towards God. It's called spiritual wealth. It's what you become. And your spiritual life is, if your spiritual life is not in order, then there's a challenge. Very important. If your spiritual life is not in order, it's a basic challenge. So spiritual wealth is the number 1 wealth you would attain. Imagine giving, what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So number 1, guys, you need to resonate spiritually with your maker. It's called spiritual wealth. Because you see, it is he that giveth the power to make wealth. So, like I said, you become it. So you understand that there's a power to make wealth, but there's somebody who gives you power to make wealth. So guys, like I said, I'm going to share from a business and a kingdom perspective. So number 1 is spiritual wealth. It's what you become. It is he that giveth the power to make wealth. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So number 1 point, take note of that, spiritual wealth. So number 2 dimension of wealth or sphere of wealth is what I call soulical wealth. Soulical wealth is gotten from the word soul. It's called soulical wealth. Very important. It means intellectual and emotional development. That is where you develop emotionally. You develop intellectually. It's called soulical wealth. So like I said, number 1 is spiritual wealth. Number 2 is soulical wealth. Guys, please take notes, because when you evolve and you understand these things and you align yourself, you naturally attract wealth. You see, there are going to be streams of income and principles of income. Now, those things are great, but you see, you need to become wealthy to attract wealth. That's why wealthy people don't chase after money. You see, if you're still chasing after things, you are poor. So that's important. So very important. Number two is sow legal wealth. I couldn't get my guys on Instagram to be on this call, but of course, make sure you're rebroadcasting. Let as many people get on the call. I hope to share the link of this on Instagram, and those who miss this call could join. Maybe the next session we'll get them to be on the call. I tried to get them on the call. I couldn't get them on this call. So guys, number two is sow legal wealth. Now, you see, when man was created, there was nothing, of course, in the brain. You know, the brain is more like a hard drive. It is what you download into it is what you get. So, of course, the soul is made up of the mind, it's made up of the intellect and the emotion. The soul of man is made up of the mind, the intellect, and the emotion. Guys, I'm pushing out some information. You need to take notes. When you become wealthy, you're unstoppable. When you become wealthy in these 7 areas, you are unstoppable. So the soul is made up of 3 fragments: the mind, the intellect, and the emotion. It needs to be developed. When the brain of man was created at birth, there was nothing there. So just like a hard drive, you download things into it. It is what you learn that stays in your soul, like I said, in your mind. As you grow in your emotion and you grow in your intellect, it's called solical wealth. Wealth is directly wealth has a proportional direction to how you grow in your learning. So it's called solical wealth. Now that's important. It's important for you to be wealthy in your soul. So as you grow in your mind, as you grow in your intellect, as you grow in your emotion, you build strength to attract wealth. So watch people who have made great feats in this world. They are people who have grown in their mind. They've grown in their emotions. Very important. Now think of the man Solomon. He was a wise man. He was smart. He was asked, what do you want me to do for you? You know, great guy, smart individual. He said, give me wisdom, give me knowledge, give me understanding. Now, no wonder I was able to attract so much wealth. Because you see, when you grow in your solical wealth, I'm talking about the soul, the mind, the intellect, and the emotion, by reading books, exposing yourself to materials, platforms like this, where you grow your mindset, you grow your solical wealth. So guys, every point where you could develop your soul, I'm talking about the mind, the emotions, and the intellect, please don't sell it. Buy it and don't sell it. I tell you, platform like this where you get free calls this way, you could jump on the calls and get real nuggets. Please don't sell it. Books, don't sell it. Now you grow your soul. You download into your hard drive, because nothing was in the brain when man was created. That's important. You know, there's a little book written by John, and it's third letter, 3 John 3 verse 2. He said, beloved, I wish that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. So there's a direct proportion, there's a link, between the prosperity of the soul and the prosperity of the man. So when you grow your soul, your solical wealth, in this case, you grow physical prosperity. Very important, guys. He said, I wish that thou mayest prosper. You know, John wrote that in a little book called 3 John 2. I wish that thou mayest prosper and be in wealth, even as thy soul prospered. So there's a direct proportionality between the growth of the soul and your wealth. Now, if you understand that, put in some 555 in the chat box. If you're on this call, guys, you understand that, put in some 555 in the chat box. That's important. That's important. It's called solical wealth. So number one, we said spiritual wealth, alignment with your maker. It is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. Now, number two, we said solical wealth. Look at everyone who's made great inventions today. They've grown solical wealth. Look at the likes of, Warren Buffett. You see what he's done. You see, Elon Musk, Tesla, you see what they've done. You see, they've grown solical wealth. It's very important, and that's key. Number 3, because I want to make this call as short as possible, is physical wealth. Physical wealth. Number 3 is physical wealth. Now, it is important. You see, these things are things you need to balance. One of the most worst thing that can happen to a man is lying down on your back, but with ideas you can never implement. One of the worst things that can happen to any man is laying down on your back with an inability to have, with ideas in your mind you cannot implement. So you need your body to be in shape, to pursue these ideas. Now let me say this. Wealth in itself is created by ideas. Wealth in itself is created by ideas. He said in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. You see, even the earth we live in was created by ideas. I'm going to prove that to you. You see, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and that Word was God. You see, and the Word became flesh in verse 14 of that chapter. And, and the Word became flesh, and it dwelt amongst us. Now, so that understanding is that the Word actually became flesh. So the world we live in today was created by the Word. You see, and the word, W-O-R-D, is actually a Hebrew word, now, which is translated logos. Logos. And the English word of logos is express ideas. Express ideas. You see, the world in itself is created by ideas expressed. You see, you need to understand, wealth in itself is created by ideas. You see, no matter how good you are, how idealistic you are, if the body is not in shape to implement them, you are poor. I give a story of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had a partner called Steve Wozniak. Came up with the Apple brand, remarkable. Today, I use an Apple phone. We have lots of people who use the Apple brands, Apple products. It's been a blessing. It's a billion dollar brand. Now, this individual had cancer. Pathetic story, great man, great invention, great idea, had cancer. He died with billions of dollars in the bank. Now, you understand that wealth in itself needs to be balanced. So we talk of the spheres of wealth. The spheres of wealth. Now, you can't ignore one side of it and trust the other. Then you'll be making a mistake. He died with billions of dollars in the bank. So physical wealth, pay attention to that. Exercise yourself. Take care of your body, what you eat, what you take in, your environment. Now, even negative influences, what you hear, are they toxic? Are they acidic? You need to put out negative environment outside you. They have a way of affecting your health. Very important. So as you work out, you take in good stuff, good nutrition and all that. Also check out negative influences. Check out negative vibrations. They affect your mindset. They affect your health. That's important. So number 4, social wealth. Social wealth. And this concerns a lot of people in my community. Social wealth. It pertains to lots of us in my community. I've been in business for over 12 to 13 years. And of course, I've been in direct sales. Now, for us to thrive in a community where I play in as an entrepreneur, you need to build social wealth. So that's why it doesn't matter if you understand how to build social wealth. Guys, you see, wealth is in ideas, it's built over time. That's why you see individuals who, they're not scared of things. They don't pursue things. They understand that wealth is built. And one of the dimensions is social wealth. Now, how wealthy are you in good and quality relationships? How wealthy are you to nurture good and quality relationships? Relationships that, in itself, you are careful in building those relationships. I can tell you, I've been in business, made millions in business, and I can tell you what I see. One of the factors that have aided me to take a flight is social wealth. You see, money are in people. Your ability to understand that and build quality relationships, not acidic relationships, quality relationships that's going to take you to where you want to go. It's paramount. So, guys, it's important. Are you building right relationships? Are you building right friendships, right companionships? So if you have people around you and you see you are not taking time to nurture and cultivate relationships, then you are not building your social capital. It's capital, actually. It's capital. It's called social wealth. And that you build intentionally. These things are important. Now, I want to be sure. Please, let's rebroadcast this. It's gonna be a short call. I want to just keep it short, but at the same time, I want people to get value. If you're on this call, you can hear me. Please share the link with people. Let them know we could join this call. Now, because see, these are real things that can really change and reshape the stories of people. So, social wealth is one key aspect that I want a lot of people to get. So, as you grow, you grow social wealth. That's important. That's important. Harvey Mackay wrote the book, Dig Your Well Before You Get Tested. He said when he was young, his father told him, everyone you meet in life, find a way to keep their contact and find a way to stay in touch with them. Harvey Mackay, he wrote the book, Dig Your Well Before You Get Tested. Everyone you meet in life, the father gave him an instruction. The father was a mentor to him. He said, find a way to keep their contact and find a way to keep in touch. Build a bridge to stay in touch with them. You will need people. You see, money are in people. That's important. Money are in people. That's key. You see, if your marriage is not working, for some reasons, make it work. We'll call it social disease. Make it work. If your relation with your friends and families are not working, make it work. All the unforgiveness, all the hate and anger, put it off. You need to build social wealth. It's important. You need to make these things work, and you do that intentionally. So Harvey Mackay, from the age the father told him, he started putting names down of people. He was taking names and building a bridge, a connect to stay with them. If you want to be wealthy, build social wealth. Build social wealth. I was in a session with a young man, billionaire, and I was privileged to be in that meeting. And we got talking, one thing led to another. And we had a session together. Billionaire, I never knew he had what I wanted right there. But of course, it was a session. I was privileged to be in that session, but I cultivated that relationship. You see, these are things you do intentionally. Money and people, you grow it. Sometimes you need to cultivate for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But guys, money and people. So number one, spiritual wealth. Number two, soulish wealth. And number three, physical wealth. And number four, social wealth. So let's go to number 5. If you're ready for number 5, type in some 777 in the chat box. I want to be sure people can hear me on this call. Really excited to have everyone join the Zoom call, this live Facebook call. Our Instagram audience can't join this call today. I apologize, but I promise the next call will definitely have everyone in it. So guys, if you can hear me, put in some 777 in the chat box. Put in some 77 in the chat box. Very, very important. Now, if you are not intentional about social wealth, it's a big challenge. Just to give it a bit of pep. Now, look at the man Joseph. Joseph made friends with, the butler and the cupbearer. If you know the story of Joseph. Now, he made friends with the cupbearer and the butler. Now, he was intentional about where he was going. See, the size of your dream determines the decisions you make. Now, this relationship could be a mentor-mentee relationship. It could be friendship, whatever it is, you are intentional about creating social wealth. So what he did, even while in the prison, was to make friends with the butler and the cupbearer. Now listen to this. He was so close to them that they were willing to share their dreams with him. Now you don't share your dreams with just anyone. You imagine dreaming just last night, and you wake up and meet somebody you don't know. That's intimate. If I dreamt last night, either I keep it to myself or I share with somebody really close. So that's to show you how Joseph created closeness. It was intentional. And of course, he had the solution to what they wanted. He interpreted the dreams and he told them something. He said, when you get back to the palace, don't forget me. Now, this is the story. The cupbearer eventually was released, got back to the palace, and there was need for what Joseph had. Now, the truth is, he would have remained in the prison even though he had solutions to the king. Now, Joseph had the solution, but he needed somebody to connect him to the vendor. Now, this is it. He had built enough social wealth that acted as a bridge from the prison to the palace. And listen to what the cupbearer said. I know a man who can interpret the dreams of the king, the dream of the king. I know a man. Now, the word I know shows friendship. So guys, I want to show you this from different perspectives, so you understand that these things are not just theories. I have played in direct sales for many, many years. And the truth is, if I don't pay evil for evil, and I'm not trying to, in quote, paint myself, but you see, I understand that it doesn't work. That's not social capital. It doesn't work. So even if I show love. You see, you put God at the center of what you're doing and you keep loving people. So you build social wealth intentionally. Guys, if you understand that, putting some 77 in the chat box. You build social wealth intentionally. That's important. So number one, we're taking time to go through that, not from number one to number two. Now we're number 5. If you're following me, that means you're taking notes. Number 5 is influential wealth. Influential wealth. Influence. Influential wealth. That's important. Influential wealth. So you see, you build influence by giving value. You build influence by giving value. So the question is, what value am I giving to people? You build influence by giving value. So the big question I need to ask myself, Francis, what value, what am I giving out to the space, to the atmosphere? What value am I giving to my world? So what value, what contributions am I giving to my world in terms of what I have? So you build value. You build influential wealth by giving value. That's important. That's very, very important. So guys, influential wealth is key. It opens doors. There are people, and of course, if you're in direct sales, if you're in marketing, you need influential wealth. It opens doors for people. Influence is built by giving value to humanity. Let me go back and share, and of course, that's a question, and your name opens doors. There are names you call today that the moment you mention those names, it opens doors because it's a function of influence. They've given so much value that their names ring a bell. So does your name command influence? That's a question. Does my name, Francis Chihora, command influence? You remember, I told you something you build, something you become. So influential wealth is what you build by constantly being of value to your community, to your environment, to people around you. It's influence. Now, Jesus built a name so much, and he told the disciples, don't bother mentioning your name. If you need to get anything from the Father, mention my name. He had paid the price. He had built his name. You see, these are things you do intentionally. He said, don't bother calling your name when you get to the Father. Just call my name. The door opens. That's important. And number 6, on tonight's call, I want to keep it very short, is community wealth. Community wealth. I hope you're getting value. If you're getting value, guys, put in some 777 in the chat box. If you're getting value tonight, 7 dimensions of wealth, 7 spheres of wealth. If you're getting value tonight, put in some 777 in the chat box. Put in some 777 in the chat box. Really amazing call tonight. Put in some 777 in the chat box. Number 1, we said spiritual wealth. That's number 1. Number 2, we said soulish wealth. Number 3, physical wealth. Number 4, social wealth. Number 5, we talked about influential wealth. And number 6 is community wealth. So guys, this is the point. Now, I see lots of people who are into politics and all that. You see, you don't have to be in politics to build community wealth. It's becoming a contribution to people who live around you, your community, those who are destitute, who are poor, reaching out to the needy, those who can help themselves. Those things are built over time. They are built. You know, you talk about a Mahatma Gandhi, a Mother Teresa. These people have built community wealth. You know, and they cultivate, they understand the import of these things. Those names open doors. You go to India today, and you mention a Mahatma Gandhi, they idolize him. You know, you see, these things are things you build it. Guys, that's what makes wealth. That's wealth. Wealth is not paper. Wealth is not money. You see, wealth is, you know, when you're wealthy, you attract those things. There are things you attract material wealth. Wealth in itself is not material wealth. It's just a component of what you attract when you become wealthy. So when you understand spiritual wealth, you understand soulish wealth, where you build your mind, your intellect, and your emotion. Physical wealth, because you see, when your back is on the ground and you have great ideas in your mind and you cannot implement them, it's the worst thing that can happen to you, man. So you need to be fit. You know, you understand the place of social capital, relationship with people around you, your spouse, your friends, you keep right relationship. You pay good for evil. He said, do good to those who despisefully hurt you. Do good to those who hate you, who persecute you. That's scriptures. Just keep doing that. No, you see, those words in scriptures were intentional. He said, do good to those who persecute you, who harm you, bless them. You are building social wealth. We talk of influence, giving value to people. And number 6, community wealth. You see, I'm taking time to go through this again so it can sink. Community wealth. Now, where you give to the needy, you to the homeless, to the motherless, to the destitute, people who can help themselves, you build community wealth. Guys, when you and I leave this world, people are not going to talk about the cars we own or the money we have. People will talk about your community wealth. Now, the truth is, people never remember you because of what you save, but people remember you for what you gave. Write that down. People never remember you because of what you saved. People remember you for what you gave. What impact are you becoming? Or what impact to people who are around you, who can't help themselves, who are destitute, who are homeless, people who need help, people who need your support. Now, that's how to build community wealth. And I tell you, you attract it. Now, those who don't have community wealth, their funeral is going to be a short one because there's nothing to talk about. On their grave side, on their epitaph, nothing can be written about them. When you and I leave this world, people won't talk about your cars. They won't talk about the money you have in the bank. Shockingly, when Steve Jobs left, truth be told, he had billions in the bank, but people will remember Steve Jobs today because he left us with the iPhone. The iPhone, I still have one. We use his products, computers, laptops, iPads, the iPhone, that invention. He left something here. He blessed the community. Guys, community wealth. And number 7, which is the very most important one, generational wealth. Generational wealth. I'm going to close this call in another 5 minutes. I could take questions. Generational wealth. Generational wealth, guys. That is the apex, generational wealth. And that's key. He said a good man leaves an inheritance for children. You know, you are wealthy when you leave an inheritance for your grandchildren. It's called generational wealth. So guys, you build wealth in such a way that your grandchildren can benefit from what you're doing right now. Your great-grandchildren can benefit from it. That's why you're wealthy. Now, if you are not able to build that kind of wealth, you're still poor. It's called generational wealth. That's important. So guys, I hope you captured the whole sphere. We talked about spiritual wealth. Number 2, soulish wealth. Number 3, we talked about physical wealth. Number 4, we talked about social wealth. Number 5, we talked about influential wealth. Number 6, we talked about community wealth. And number 7, we talked about generational wealth. Leaving wealth for a generation to come. A good man leaves an inheritance. Now, when you think this way, you won't think of yourself alone. That's how to become wealthy. You know, you're not thinking of what you eat today, my children. You know, you're thinking of living it's a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. When you think generationally, it opens your frontiers. Your minds are open. You know, God told Abraham, he said, as far as your eyes can see, I'll give you. As far as your eyes can see. It's generational. So, you see, these principles have a way of reformatting your mindset. You are not building wealth for a generation. And of course, that's how God expects us to look at how life is. Look at life. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children. That's important, guys. I want to close this call in another 4 minutes, but I'll leave you with some nuggets. Money is not wealth. Money is not wealth. You know, poor people think about money. When you see poor people, they think about money. That's not wealth. Wealth is created. What is what you become? By going through the 7 phases I just mentioned. 7 phases of wealth. 7 dimensions of wealth. Wealth is not money. Poor people think about money. Rich people think about things. My Gucci, my car, my phone. Those are rich people. They're not wealthy. They're not wealthy. But wealthy people think about ideas. I told you the word idea is what wealth is. And I try to do a relationship. You know, if you go read from the book of John, and you read down, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. In verse 14 of that chapter, the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. The word, the word, W-O-R-D, is from a Hebrew word called logos, L-O-G-O-S, logos. What it means is express ideas. So the whole world was created on ideas. Guys, ideas rule the world. So where do we think about ideas? I have some nuggets I want to share here. Now, so these are things you really want to know. And of course, let me just share some behaviors of wealthy people. Poor people pursue money. Rich people accumulate money. They accumulate things. If things make you rich or make you wealthy, you're poor. If you have to accumulate things for you to be wealthy, and what you see in our nation today, you put someone in a position of power, he wants to accumulate things to himself. That's not wealth. He could lose it and that's the end. That's not wealth. Wealth is what you become. So, money, poor people pursue money. Rich people accumulate money. But wealthy people create money. Wealth is created in the place of ideas. Let me share one more nugget before I close out this call. I have just two minutes thereabout. Poor people collect money. Rich people store money. That's what you see today. Around the world, especially in Africa, they store money. Government treasuries, they loot accounts, they store money. But ladies and gentlemen, wealthy people multiply money. Said to one, they give 1 talent, to another, they give 2 talents, yet to another, they give 5 talents. They multiply money, they multiply it. Now, and that's how wealth is created. Guys, I could go on and on and on and on about this, but of course, I can't exhaust it. Now, you want to take out time and really go through this dimensions of wealth I've shared with you tonight. The spiritual wealth, to your soulish wealth, your mind, the growth of the development of your intellect, your mind, your emotion, the development of your intellect, your will, your mind, and your emotion. soulish wealth. Number 3, physical wealth. You grow because you see it's very important. You need this container to be able to pursue your goals and dreams in life. You need to stay in the right state, the physical state, to pursue your goals and dreams in life. So number 4, social wealth. Number 5, we talked about influential wealth. Number 6, we talked about community wealth. And the most important, because you've been able to achieve this, go through these phases, you're able to grow wealth and leave it for your children. Guys, that's the call. It's 40 minutes. I'm supposed to close the call right now. I hope you got some value. If you got some value, put in some 555 in the chat box. It was meant to be a 40-minute call tonight. The 7 dimensions of wealth, the 7 spheres of wealth. My name again is Francis Chihora. I'm a serial entrepreneur and your hope ambassador. I love you guys. Have a great evening. We're going to have this session yet again. Right now, we're going to have the Instagram community as well. And it's going to be really amazing. See you guys at the top and not from the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. Love you guys. God bless you.